Right, we're back now. In this section here, we're going to talk about three very important terminologies in physical sciences when we're talking motion. The first one that we're going to look at is position, like I've already explained. Now, position is a point where that object is found, and it can be described by coordinates, like I have there. Another thing that we need to understand or get to know here, it's the second quantity that I'm going to introduce to you, and this is called distance. Okay, now what is distance? Distance is actually the path that has been taken in the whole motion. So that becomes the distance. In other words, if you measure how long this path is from the starting point A down to the destination B, if you know the measure, the size of that, then you have the distance. So distance is the actual path that an object has taken in moving or in changing its position from an initial position to a final position. That will be distance. Now, the next thing or the next quantity that I want to talk to you about, it's displacement. Now, I've spoken about it a little earlier on, but let's go back to it again. Now, what is displacement? If you look at displacement here, I showed it as a straight line distance, if you like, a straight line distance from A to B, a straight line distance from the origin to the destination. Now, this straight line distance from the origin to the destination is called the displacement. Now, there is something that you should note here. One, both displacement and distance are measured in meters. Okay? So, we measure displacement in meters. The same thing happens for distance. We measure it in meters. But then, what is the difference between the two? If you check here, you would see that with distance, we are saying it is the actual path, okay, without considering the direction that the object took in moving from the first position to the last position, or initial position to the final position. Now, displacement, on the other hand, tells us, look, I'm not interested in how it moved, this object moved, but I'm interested in how this object changed position from position at A to the position at B. Now, that change in position is called displacement. So you can define displacement as a change in position. If an object changes position, that change in position is called displacement. And you can actually know it as, or simply as, the distance, the straight line distance from the initial position to the final position, from the origin to the destination. Okay, so those are very crucial quantities that you need to know. Now, later on as we move on, I will be introducing to you these quantities as I go by. But then you will also be introduced to two very important terminologies in science: scalars and vectors. Okay? And we'll be able to classify these quantities as either scalars or vectors. Now, you may ask yourself, what is a scalar quantity? A scalar quantity is a quantity that has only magnitude. Okay? So with that one, we don't care about the direction. We don't care how or where this object is going. All we want to know is how big, the size, the magnitude of this quantity. But then when we come to a vector quantity is a physical quantity with both magnitude and direction. So there you worry about both of them, magnitude and direction. See you in the next section.